Hi, if you want to watch exclusive content with hot girls that you won't watch on YouTube, namely where Naruto roasts Kushina and Mikoto and many other hot girls without restrictions, then visit my Boosty channel at the link in the description. A boy of about 6 years old was running through the village. It was me. No, I wasn't running from the rain. I was running from people full of hatred. I don't know why they hated me. It's been like that since birth. If on ordinary days they just looked at me with eyes full of hatred, then today, on my birthday, nothing stopped them. Last year I barely crawled out of the other world, and so I didn't really want to get it from the residents of this village. I was running towards the Hokage's residence. Grandpa the Third, that's what I called the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. He was one of 5, or rather 4 people I could trust. The other 2 were the owner of the Ichiraku ramen shop, Tuchi, and his daughter, Ayam. They often put extra for me and always smiled. And another was a librarian named Tanzo. His library was in the same building as my apartment. He treated me kindly and we often talked about books. Later he told me that he came here only 2 years ago and did not know why many people treated me like that. There was also an Anbu in a crow mask. He saved me more than once, but I do not know him personally. While I was telling you about my friends, I had already run to the residence. Having gone inside and caught my breath a little, I wandered to the office of the third grandfather. When I was at the door, I heard the clink of glasses and the words, "For the legacy of the 4th dash." The voice was clearly not alone, but I still decided to go in, knocked, and opened the door. There were 4 people in the office. Hiruzen, his childhood friend Shimura Danzo, and 2 advisors named Koharu and Hamura. They looked at me, which even took my breath away. But after they all smiled at once, I felt better. "Naruto, hello? How are you?" Danzo asked me. I said that everything was fine and looked at the chair where my grandfather was sitting, but I didn't see anyone. Turning my head, I saw him taking something out of the chest of drawers that stood behind me. He pulled out a gift box. I looked at him happily and hugged him. But my attention was drawn to some rustling behind me. I turned around and saw that they were pulling out 2 gifts for me. One for Danzo and one for the advisors. I thanked them and wanted to leave, but Hiruzen sent his clone with me. We talked a little about what would happen at the academy and I went home with him. It was still a very exciting moment. I took the largest box. Hiruzen just nodded to me. The box contained clothes, although not clothes. There was a black jumpsuit that covered the entire body, a black windbreaker with a zipper, black pants and shinobi sandals. They all had a red whirlpool sign on them. I just looked at Hiruzen questioningly, because the clothes were obviously bigger than me. But Hiruzen just laughed, looking at me. He explained that these things are made of a special fabric. If it is torn, pour chakra into it, and it will recover. If it is too small for you and completely intact, then pour chakra into it, and it will grow. If it is too big, then put it on yourself and start absorbing chakra, which will make it smaller. I will not hide, I was pleasantly surprised, because there was not always enough money, and this allowed me not to buy clothes at all. But this is not yet available to me. I don't know how to use chakra, I said plaintively. And it's true that I've never trained, but Hiruzen just nodded his head towards the second, equally small gift. Opening it, I was surprised. There were scrolls and books. A lot of scrolls and books. I was happy, because I'll be going to the academy in a year, and during this time I'll be able to improve my skills. I was about to open the 3rd gift, but Hiruzen stopped my hand. I looked at him in surprise, but he said, "This is a gift from Danzo. He asked me to tell you to open it when the time comes." I didn't understand the last phrase at all. But Hiruzen's clone didn't really think of staying, and after saying goodbye to me, he disappeared. Well, without thinking, I decided to find something interesting in the box with knowledge. There were a lot of different things there, but then I liked one book. It was called The Art of Shinobi. When I opened it, I saw a photo of the one who wrote it. The book belonged to Tobarama Senju. The book of the second himself. How interesting. At first, he explained in it who shinobi are, what chakra is and its applications. I finished reading the book to the end and realized that it was already dawn. Yes, in fact, there really was a lot written in the book, you just don't need it yet. I put it on the nightstand, but a page fell out of the book. Looking at it, I was surprised. There were clearly some exercises written there. At first I couldn't believe what I found. If the book described different types of jutsu, then here were ways to learn these jutsu. Moreover, there was a special order. This statement proved that Fuinjutsu was learned even before any attack technique. I read about the Uzumaki clan and that they specialized in it. Because of this, I had hopes for an easier mastery of such a complex type of jutsu. Without wasting time, I had breakfast and went somewhere in the forest to train, but I came across a spacious training ground. There I decided to start training. But I was far from using chakra. As Tobarama wrote, first you need to temper your body and spirit, and only then learn what is called the shinobi art. The body exercises were not difficult, but they exhausted me quite a bit. But what really depressed me was that everything seemed difficult to me already, and then I had to increase the number of exercises I did to 5,000. No, of course not right away. It would take years. But there is one more amendment. When I reach 1,000, I will have to use weights and gradually increase their weight. At this rate, I will definitely become strong, but I will have to get out of bed more than once with terrible pain in my body. 3 months have passed since the beginning of training, and having come to the conclusion that my body is in good shape for my age, I decided to move on to the next stage, while not forgetting about training my body. The next stage was to learn to control the chakra. It sounds simple, but in reality, everything was much more complicated. I had to learn such an ancient art as meditation. I wasted 3 weeks. But I didn't get upset, and I started to succeed. In a week I was able to completely clear my mind in 10 minutes. After that, I spent another month learning to control the chakra inside myself. And I spent 2 months to master it at an average level. The next chapter, if you can call it that, was about expanding your chakra supply and learning the first technique at the end. You could expand your chakra supply by completely depleting it. But the second was able to find a way to do it easily and benefit from it. Although how did he find it? It was written there that he got the concept from his brother's wife, Mito Uzumaki. As I understood it, you first need to enter meditation mode, and then use your chakra to make yourself a kind of chakra reserve. And then pour all your chakra into it. The process was slow, but I didn't seem to be in a hurry. In battle, this can be very helpful. When you have little chakra left, you can take it from the reserve. Compared to my main source, the reserve I made was small. About 10%. But I made a note for the future, not only to increase it, but also to increase their number. So in 2.5 months I significantly increased the source of chakra, and the reserve to about 20% of the source. Naturally, I did not forget about physical exercises and chakra control. I have 2 months and 1 technique left until the academy. More precisely, there were 2 techniques, but when you understand what these techniques are, you will also consider that it is one. And that's why I needed to expand the source. These techniques were shadow and multiple shadow clone techniques. They, as I understood, were very chakra consuming. But I wouldn't say they were difficult. I learned them in a month and a half. But during my training, important events happened that I will tell you about. The next time I tried to use clones, I overdid it a bit with the chakra and the entire clearing was littered with half-baked copies of me. And then I passed out. I woke up not in the middle of the training ground, but near a tree that was located to the north of where I was. My gaze fell on the man standing next to me. He, as I understood from his mask, was from ANBU. "Who are you?" I asked, standing up. But when he turned around, everything went back to normal. His mask, the mask of a crow. But after thinking about my words for a while, I said, "Although you shouldn't, I know you're not supposed to. Actually, ANBU have the right to reveal their identity, if they do not interfere with one of their own," said the ANBU and began to remove the mask. I walked around him 3 times. Black hair, eyes of the same color, long eyelashes, build, all of this said only one thing. "Uchiha." "Uchiha," I mumbled. "Itachi," said the brunette. "I haven't even entered the academy yet, but I've already heard about you. The genius of the Uchiha clan. All hopes are pinned on you," I said, looking intently into Itachi's eyes. "Are you training?" Itachi asked, cleverly changing the subject. "It's strange to hear this question from a person who is supposed to be watching me," I said. Itachi only smirked at my answer. The third ordered me to keep an eye on you, but watching you, in general, you seemed interesting to me and I decided to go down, especially since you yourself gave me a chance to get to know you," Uchiha said sincerely. But Itachi didn't expect one thing, that Naruto, who stood in front of him, would disappear in a puff of smoke. "What? But how?" Uchiha was surprised. Naruto appeared from behind the tree. "I noticed you at the beginning of the training, Itachi. Yesterday I was able to create a shadow clone, and I had an idea to lure you out. However, it worked." Itachi just smirked at this turn of events. "Sorry, but I have to train." Uzumaki bowed, but he was stopped by Itachi's hand. "I didn't finish. You have become very interesting to me, so I suggest you be friends. No, there are still 5 people I can trust. Itachi, I would be glad if you keep me company. Of course, maybe I'll even help." However, he really did help. And here it is, the first day of my studies at the academy. First, my grandfather gave a speech. Well, nothing unusual. By the way, while I was waiting for the speech to end, I saw Itachi and his, as he says, stupid younger brother nearby. Then we were taken to the classroom. I had no intention of getting to know the younger Uchiha, but he sat down next to me. I deliberately sat by the window of the farthest desk, so that I could observe everything and no one would bother me. He obviously wanted something. While the teacher, whose name was Iraka Yumino, was speaking, Sasuke and I were talking about various topics. Well, naturally, 2 chalks flew at us. If it hit Sasuke, because the speed was really very high, then I simply dodged out of habit. Sensei, and everyone in the class, were amazed by my reaction. Sensei didn't say anything, but simply wrote something down in his diary. We didn't learn anything during those 3 days. They just explained our plans for the future. But I got to meet everyone. Let me tell you about them. There were 12 of us in the class. 2 of us were me and Sasuke. There were also 2 from the Nara clan, Shikamaru and Shikoten. They were absolute twins in appearance, but in character. The first was lazy, although he was a little smarter and calmer than his brother. Shikoten was his complete opposite. No, he was not stupid, but he was hardworking and persistent. But okay. Uchiha Seiko was also there. Sasuke said that she was Shursui Uchiha's niece. And by the way, I know him. More precisely, I just saw him sometimes. There was also Hyuga, Aburame, Inazuka, Yamanaka. There were also 2 without clans. Fukoten Iranaru and Sakura Haruno. Well, what can I say about the academy in 2 weeks? Boring. No, seriously. I expected training, but I already knew everything they taught us there. And since the academy took up a good half of the day, I decided not to bother and sent the shadow clone there, and I trained myself. The next stage of my training was to learn techniques that would help in the future. And here, the root of the problem. I spent 5 months on this stage. 5 whole months. But oh well, I finished it anyway. And that's all because I spent a week on Henjin replacement. Another 2 weeks on replacement for items like Kanai and shadow clones. But the most important thing, Fuinjutsu. Here's where the snag came in. The theory took 2, maybe a month and a half. But with practice, everything was a bit difficult. I had to improve my control. But still, now I can put absorption seals on any surface. Seal and unseal any objects from it, except living ones. But I didn't dare to learn anything from the scrolls. Itachi was still keeping an eye on me, because I warned him that I personally don't go to the academy. Well, I was right here. I really needed a lot of time, and if I had gone to the academy there simply wouldn't have been enough. In general, it was like this. With the help of clones, I had to develop in several directions. In this, I was assisted by 100 clones. First, a quarter of them must improve their chakra control. Second, learn to throw weapons for the same amount of time. Third, 50 clones had to train taijutsu. And this was not so simple. Itachi told me about different types of taijutsu. There are Uchiha or Hyuga styles and so on. I had an idea. I turned to my second gift for help and it gave me what I wanted. In it, I found the Uzumaki clan's fighting style. It was simply incredible. It consisted in the fact that the attacks were critical, and the defense was impeccable. But this could be achieved with very persistent training. And what kind of training? First, I had to control my chakra perfectly. I accomplished that task. In a year. In a year. As Shikamura said. Too much trouble. During this time, my physical fitness was about a 7 out of 10. Kunai and shuriken throwing was an 8. But chakra control was a full 10. It was still worth it, especially since I was able to further expand my chakra supply and increase the reserve to 50%. I thought about creating more, but decided to wait. I went on long-awaited vacation, although they were almost no different from my usual days. Except that stupid younger brother Itachi came to me a couple of times, to spar. Over the holidays, I only began to master the attack of this style. Its difficulty in learning was that if you take too little chakra for an attack, then this blow was considered just a finger jab. But if you take a lot of it, then it turned into a deadly technique. So for now I was trying to find a happy medium. However, it was easy to do this during the holidays. And now, the real me stood before the Hokage, who was giving instructions to the younger generation. But explosions did not let him finish. Before I could understand anything, 2 shinobi in ANBU masks appeared next to me and Sasuke. One of them was clearly Itachi. He grabbed Sasuke and disappeared. I was taken by an ANBU in a cat mask. A few seconds later, we were at my house. Collect everything you need, I heard the order, and without wasting any time I began to carry it out. I gathered all my gifts, kunai, shuriken, sealing them in my absorption seal. Even through the mask, I saw how surprised he was. The things the third gave me, I hadn't worn yet and they were still in the box that I sealed. I also sealed all the scrolls and books. I didn't take anything else with me. I'm ready. The cat picked me up and we disappeared. We appeared in some clearing. The Hokage's heads were visible in the distance, but a second later they were gone. Itachi and Sasuke appeared in front of us. They had some kind of box in their hands. He hasn't arrived yet? No, Itachi, he's not here yet. Immediately after these words, a tall man with long black hair and pale skin appeared. Let's go. We have to protect them, said this man, although he looked more like a snake. Yes, Orochimaru-sensei. Orochimaru, as far as I know, is one of the legendary Sannin. But I have not heard that he took students, especially Itachi. We ran for quite a long time. We didn't stop. I held on as best I could. Fortunately, my physical fitness allowed it. Although Itachi had to carry Sasuke for some time. In the evening, when the sun had almost set, we stopped. You two, Orochimaru pointed at me and Koda, go hunt. He looked at Itachi and Sasuke, but I don't know what he'll tell them. While we were hunting, the cat occasionally glanced at me. I noticed this and decided to ask. If you're interested in something, ask. And what's your name anyway? The name is Tenzo. And about my questions. How long have you known Itachi? A little longer than I go to the academy. Anything else? No, nothing. The rest of the hunt passed in silence. Returning to our camp, we skinned our catch, 7 rabbits, and skewered them on branches to roast them on the fire. While the food was roasting, we began to chat. Do we have a plan, Orochimaru? Naruto, do you know about your parents? No, do you know anything? Then no. Okay, I'll tell you about them. I began to listen attentively to Sannin. Your father was a great shinobi. All countries feared him. Even I couldn't defeat him in a fight. He was 4th? My question surprised everyone. Yes, you're right. How did you guess? A great shinobi. All the villages were afraid of him, and in general, he and I look similar. I noticed that a long time ago. But you don't know your mother? True, but I suspect Uzumaki. And again, right on target. Everyone watched our dialogue, not daring to interrupt. Her name is Kushina. She was very sensitive, but also very kind. She loved you with all her heart, that she even gave her life for you. How did this happen? But they didn't give me an answer. More precisely, I didn't hear it. I found myself in the sewers. I'd been here once before, but I didn't tell you about it. It's just that nothing happened then. During training, I was so exhausted that I fell unconscious. I found myself here, but he, The one for whom they hated me was simply sleeping. That's why I decided not to tell you about it. But now he wasn't sleeping. I went into this huge room, with golden gates, and two blood-red eyes were looking into my 2 blue pools. The roar enveloped the entire space. An unimaginable thirst for murder attacked me. But it did not stop me at all. "What are you doing here, brat?" I ignored his question and headed towards the gate. "Do you want to kill me?" And the fox. "Remove the seal and I will tear you apart." "As you wish." With one sharp movement, without a moment's hesitation, I removed the seal and the gate opened. Someone appeared behind me. It was them. "Naruto, what's wrong?" "Later, Mom, later." "Snot, I thought you were smarter." "It's so easy to remove the seal, I'll kill you." "Who cares?" "What?" "Well, imagine that you are a person who needs, like everyone else, care, love. But on the day of your birth, some demon killed them. But it was sealed in you. And you know it. You could live knowing that inside you sits the killer of your parents, and you can't do anything about it. Tell me, Fox, you could live knowing this." "I was under genjutsu." "A lie. I looked at your most vivid memories. You remember killing them, stabbing your claw into their backs. If you were under genjutsu, you wouldn't remember that." "When? When did you find out?" "That time, when I fell unconscious, I was here. You were sleeping. Just sleeping. And I decided to try a new technique. I went to the cage and walked through it. When I got to you, I used it. This jutsu reads the brightest moments of life. That's when I saw it. So you weren't under genjutsu, I know that. And that's why I can't live like this. Right now. Kill me, and then do whatever you want. Naruto, come here." I turned around and saw my mother motioning for me to come over. And I did. She hugged me and we found ourselves in a different place. Me and my parents. "Naruto, now we will use a technique that will give you all our knowledge, but after that we will evaporate. But also, I wanted to give you something." She came up to me and kissed me on the forehead. My perception changed. I began to feel their emotions. "What is this?" "My strength." Then there was a flash, and they began to dissolve. "We love you." "And I you?" I couldn't help myself. I cried like a baby. But I found myself near the Ninetales again. I looked at him and felt his emotions. Sadness, sympathy, anger at himself, helplessness. "You can show me that day." The fox only waved his tails, as that very scene appeared before me. I looked at that fox and felt fear. Fear that he would be locked up again. I understood him. He, just like me, did not want to sit alone. I gestured for him to stop. "So what are you going to do?" "What are you talking about, brat?" "About my life. You don't deserve to die." "Then I have another deal. I still can't forgive you, but I understand you. So I want to offer you peace. Although I would say mutual assistance." "Do you need my power?" "Who needs it? It's your power." "I need a friend." "Me too." "Then peace?" I said, holding out my fist. "World." I came out of my subconscious and saw this picture. Orochimaru, Itachi and Tenzo were looking at me, holding kunai in their hands. Only Sasuke for some reason stood with his back. Their feelings, curiosity, anxiety and relief. "Naruto, what happened to you?" "Orochimaru, I'll tell you, but only tomorrow." "Why not now?" "Sasuke ate my food." Everyone looked at Sasuke, who turned around and everyone saw his face. There was meat in his mouth. Everyone burst out laughing, except me. I just went into the tent and started meditating. "Hey Kurama, are you there?" "Yes." "I have a couple of questions and a suggestion." "I'm listening." "Well, first of all, how to activate the knowledge that my parents gave me. Meditate and they will gradually return." "I see. Then how do you like the idea of starting your own village?" "What?" "Well, I don't know. You need an empty seat and assistance." "And what's with that smile?" "And this." I just started remembering my parents' lives. "And as for the place and helpers, everything is taken care of here. What do you think of the Whirlwind Village? Do you want to go there?" "I don't mind." "Then we need a plan to get away from Itachi and the others without being noticed." "Aren't they with you?" "I thought they were your assistants." No, I don't want to. I just have to find myself and become strong first, and then I'll invite them. Well then just run away in about 3 hours and that's it. It's unlikely that anyone will find you. I just need to visit Konoha. For what? I forgot the gift from Danzo, and at the same time we'll find out what happened there. Well then, are there any more questions? Naruto wanted to say something but froze. Hey, why are you so quiet? You can't imagine. It turns out that my father also had superpowers. What? Well, he called it phase shift. As I understand it, it's a technique that… Well, I have no words. Can you show me? I created a shadow clone, which took the kunai and ran towards me. Kurama was watching me very closely at this time. When he ran into attack range, I jumped back and he chased after me, but suddenly I started to glow blue and disappeared, at which time the real me stuck a kunai into the clone from behind. What? Well, in general, I understand. I do some action, after which I am transferred to a parallel world, and do what I want there, but at this time, I continue to do the first action in the present. And then the first I begins to appear in the parallel world, and I appear in the present, but already there, where I ran to in the parallel world. It's complicated, I know, but in reality it's simpler. I didn't know about your father's strength. By the way, a question. How does time flow here? Well, it's up to you. It may not go at all, or it may be that a second here will be equal to an hour there, and so on. How to change? Just think about it. How much time is there until 3 in the morning? 2.5 hours. Naruto closed his eyes for 2 seconds. Then he opened them and began to wait in absolute silence. After waiting for 3 seconds, he closed his eyes again and opened them again after 2 seconds. Kurama, I can communicate with you without going into the seal. Hold out your fist. Naruto remained silent and did what the fox said, and they bumped fists. Again the same feeling as then, when mother and father used that technique. Well, everything is ready now. Okay, thank you, Kurama. I left the seal and opened my eyes. Having stretched my numb limbs, I left the tent. It was dark in the forest. Sometimes a light breeze blew, gently touching my skin. But there was no time to waste, and I set off. Without thinking twice, I set off for Konoha. It's about 10 hours away, but my parents' chakra. I simply poured so much chakra into my legs that I'd get there in about 2 hours. And so it happened. An hour later I could already see the mountain where the Hokage's faces had recently been. An hour later I was at the main gate. It wasn't difficult to get through, I am a resident after all. Well, what can I say? All the people were busy working on restoring the village. No one even paid attention to me. However, this is even better. And so the purpose of our arrival is my gift. But at the same time you can find out what happened. Walking along the road towards my house, I realized that it was destroyed by some people in black cloaks with red clouds. They say someone had a Rinnegan. By the way, this is already interesting. But that's not the point. I came to my house, to my house. To the ruins. I was already thinking of getting upset when I saw it. That very box. Without wasting a second, I sealed it. Now the village of the whirlpool awaits me. 2 months later. The Vortex Village. The village is on an island. There is a thick layer of water around it, 100 kilometers long. And then there are mountains with an average height of 5 kilometers. Moreover, there is a place in the mountains where there are no mountains. This is the only passage to the sea. But now I have finally reached the shore. Since the shore is on a lowland, the village is not visible from here. All I can do is go up. When I got up, I was stunned. A prosperous village, many people with red, orange, yellow, and gray hair. My jaw reached the core of our land. But then a girl came up to me, whom I had seen somewhere before. Hey, you're Naruto, right? Why? I am Mito Uzumaki. I'm of the Uzumaki clan and the one who must lead you to our leader. Shock, misunderstanding, even greater shock. These are the emotions that I experienced in a matter of minutes. We came to some multi-story building in the shape of a circle. But inside it was a library with some kind of lever in the center. Moreover, when I looked up, I realized that all the floors of the 11-story building, except for the last one, were a library. We approached the lever and Mito pulled it. The platform we were standing on began to rise up. Having reached the top floor, we stood in the middle of a huge office. The carpet, walls, and ceiling were painted scarlet and paved with gold. At the edge of the wall was a table made of red oak and a leather chair of the same color. An old man was sitting on it. Although from his appearance, I would say an experienced warrior. Uzumaki Naruto? Yes, sir. I am Taiken Uzumaki. I am the leader of the Uzumaki clan and at the same time its oldest resident. How old are you? I'll be 395 on October 10th. And you? October 10th will be 8. So Naruto. Now I'll ask the questions, then you. Got it. Yes. Then let's begin. Why did you come here? I decided to build my village, which would adhere to neutrality, and most importantly, so that no one could attack it. Also, one of my goals was to know myself. Not bad. Who and where are your parents? My parents are dead, Teiken-sama. And if you want names, they are Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. What? They are dead. How could I let this happen? Taiken clearly felt ill, to which Mito-san quickly responded and helped him. Did you know them? Yes, Naruto. How could I not know my distant granddaughter? Are you her grandfather? Well, if you add the prefix "piari" to the word grandfather many times, then yes. This means that you are my grandson. I didn't answer anything, although there was a smile on my face. And this, he looked at Mito-san, is my student. I know who she is. Yes? Since I was 6, I trained according to the second Hokage's method. Her name was also mentioned in it. Because of this, my interest arose and I began to read about the Uzumaki clan. I see. What about Naruto? I have a proposition for you. Which? We have 5 years, after which our clan will be wiped off the face of the earth. His words struck me, but I restrained myself and did not interrupt. Over these 5 years, we will teach you everything we know, and after that, you will have to rebuild the village and continue our lineage. I agree. That's good. In general, you'll be living with Mito. She'll help you get settled in, and she'll also answer any questions you may have. Is that clear? Yes. Then you can go. Can I ask one question? I'm listening to you. I'm an empath, but I can't feel your thoughts. Ha ha ha. Well, that's clear, it doesn't work on us. And you can do the same in the future. Then goodbye, Teiken-sama. We stood near the lever again and Mito-san used it. In parting, the old man only waved his hand, which made me smile. In about 2 minutes we got to Mito-san's house. When we entered, she went to the kitchen. I thought about sitting in the living room, but a scream came from the kitchen. Naruto, take a look at the house for now. You can handle it, right? Yes, Mito-san. Dissatisfied with the fact that I was not allowed to go gray, I went to look around the house. A huge living room, a large kitchen, 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms and a large balcony. There is also a basement. Entering it, I realized that this is some kind of training place. Having climbed back up, a table with aromatic tea and Mito, in a pose of waiting, were already waiting for me. Sit down. Mito pointed to the pillow. I had no choice but to obey. So, Naruto, tell us about yourself. Well, I'm almost 8 years old. I've spent my entire life in Konoha. Basically, everyone hated me. Why? Don't you understand? No. I am a Jinchuriki. It can't be. Konoha has one bijou and it's the 9-tailed one. Firstly, it smells of hatred and malice for kilometers, and secondly, Konoha would never let you go. First of all, his name is Kurama. We are friends. And secondly, no one let me go. When the 3rd Hokage was giving a speech at the academy, explosions started and we were pulled out by one of my friends Itachi Uchiha, Tenzo, who owns Mokutan, and Orochimaru. Us? Me and my friend Sasuke Uchiha. I see, but how did you become friends with 9? Kurama. It's a long story. By this time I had already finished my tea. Okay, Naruto, I'll take you to your room. Tomorrow we'll go explore the city. I can't wait, Mito-san. I woke up from the smell of aromatic tea and some fish. I got out of bed, went to the bathroom, took a cold shower to wake up, brushed my teeth, basically got myself in order. When I went down to the kitchen, I saw Mito putting fish and rice on plates. I sat down at the table and Mito and I started to devour the food. It turned out that increased appetite is a clan thing. Mito-san, I said, wiping my mouth after eating, and what are we going to do? I will be assessing your abilities. But the leader will be in charge of the training itself. When is the assessment? Tomorrow. Well, so long. Hee. After eating, we went for a walk around the village. Passing by all sorts of shops, Mito-san decided to buy all the essentials. So, Naruto, we need to buy you clothes, a sword, a set of kunai and shuriken, chakra conducting paper and ink. Mito-san. Yes, Naruto. I have clothes. No, you're wearing regular shinobi clothes. We need ones made of special fabric and with our clan's insignia. And that's exactly what I have. It can't be. The last person who bought such clothes from us was the third Hokage, the only person who knew that our clan was alive. He gave it to me for my birthday, Mito-san. Interesting. Okay, so no need for clothes. We bought everything we needed in one day, and at the same time ate ramina. The mere mention of it makes my mouth water. By the way, I forgot to mention the katana. I had the best katana in the world, custom made. It's made of a metal called fumettium. This metal conducts chakra and has the strongest structure. And the handle, just the bomb. Red oak, varnished and engraved with a 9-tailed cat. Overall, I enjoyed the day. I yawned as I woke up. After repeating the water procedures from yesterday, I dressed in the clothes that Hiruzen gave me and went downstairs. There, Onigiri with tuna and Mito with some kind of sinister smile were waiting for me. After breakfast, we went to the basement. Last time I forgot to mention that this basement is 3 times bigger than my apartment. So, Naruto. Now I will evaluate your shinobi skills. Taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, fuinjutsu, bukijutsu, kinjutsu, and we will also meet in battle. Eat. Let's begin. What do you know about taijutsu? Taijutsu, in simple terms, is close combat. Okay. What's the main thing? Speed, strength, endurance. Good. What styles do you know? I studied the Uzumaki clan's fighting style. I know about the Senju, Hyuga, and Uchiha styles. Oh, so you studied our fighting style. How far have you come? Theoretically, I know everything that Konoha could give me. But in practice, I only learned attack, and even that was 4 out of 10. Well, it's okay, we'll fix that. Next came Naruto's interrogation about his knowledge. Naruto, although 7 years old, had the knowledge of a chunin. Now to practice. So, Naruto. Your taijutsu is 4 points, ninjutsu is 2 points, genjutsu you haven't learned yet, bukijutsu is 6 points, fuinjutsu is 6 points, kinjutsu you haven't learned yet. Your chakra reserves are huge. Eat. The rest of the week we did nothing. We just waited, walked, and had fun. Although Mito-san supplied me with the theory of kinjutsu, fuinjutsu, and taijutsu. But then the rest period came to an end and we came to the library. I climbed up alone. Mito decided to stay below. Hello, Teiken-sama. Hello, Naruto. Mito has already given me information about you. In a week, I have compiled a training list for you for 5 years. We will begin tomorrow. Get some sleep and be ready. Understood? Yes. Then you can go. Naturally, these training sessions did not take place in Mito's house. We went out to the training ground and... So, Naruto. You don't need theory. You're too well read, but you have no practice. You have good chakra control and that's great. Create the maximum number of shadow clones. The order was carried out, and the clearing was strewn with 5,000 clones. Wonderful. Taiken created 5 clones and gave them instructions. Naruto, one of my clones will take 1,000 of yours. One of them will train control, expand the hearth and increase the reserve with the help of meditation. Another will teach the second 1,000 taijutsu, the third fuinjutsu, the fourth bukijutsu, the fifth genjutsu. You will practice kinjutsu. Clear. A minute later there were only 2 people left in the clearing. Take out the sword. I unsealed the sword from the absorption seal that I put on the protector. That way, no one will guess that I am a swordsman, especially since it is invisible. I am once again convinced that the sword is gorgeous. Naruto, our Kenjutsu training will proceed as follows. Taiken unsealed 3 swords. Each of them is a level that you must overcome. You advance to the next level when you destroy the leading sword. As I understand it, this is not so easy to do? Yes. These swords are unusual. You will only be able to destroy them when you surpass his level. Eat. Then let's begin. The first year is the hardest. My training was very difficult, but this. I don't know how I'm still alive. But I still destroyed the first sword. And the other parameters grew. The next sword was broken in a year and a half. I learned my element. I had a typhoon. I came up with the name myself. No one had such an element. This genome was made of 3 elements: wind, water, lightning. But I will not stop there, because my training will last for the same amount of time. But a year passed, then another half a year, but the third and last sword did not crumble. During this time, Taiken and Mito became my family. But the fact that there were only half a year left, and they would not be there drove me crazy. I stopped sleeping. Instead, I meditated. Kurama supported me in every way. But it still happened. It took me 2 years to get the third sword. You're doing well, Naruto. I destroyed all 3 swords in 10 years of training. I'm proud of you. Come to the library tomorrow. Got it? Yes, Taiken-sensei. I reread the library a long time ago. My chakra reserve grew to 10,000 clones and I constantly sent 2,000 or 3,000 to the library. The next day, as always, Mito-san walked me to the entrance. Thank you, Mito-san. I am very grateful to you for everything you have done. Good luck, Naruto-kun. Again the same scarlet walls, ceilings, floors. This decisive moment. They all have half a year left. Naruto, do you feel it? The fox asked me. Anticipation. The feeling of anticipation comes from above. Be careful. Okay, Kurama. I closed my eyes and opened them there. Taiken was looking at me, sitting at his desk. But still, what is this feeling of anticipation? Hello, Taiken-sama? Naruto, hello? Danger. The feeling of danger emanated from him. One moment. What? Taiken lunged at me. But I expected it and used phase shift. You're not Taiken. Who are you? Stupid boy, said the imposter, licking his lips. He never existed. Taiken, Mito, these are all illusions. Orochimaru. Right. For what? I wanted to capture the Nine Tails when we left Konoha. But you escaped. So I decided to take at least the Sharingan for myself. But when Tenzo and I attacked the Uchiha, we were defeated. Itachi killed Tenzo and was able to fight back. But weakened after the fight with Tenzo, Itachi was killed by me. And Sasuke awakened the Sharingan after he saw his brother's dead body. I had to escape. And I saw you. Using one genjutsu, I read your mind and understood where you were going. Having reached there faster than you, I prepared everything in order to get your body. And the plan worked. Hee. Itachi. Dead. Naruto's eyes changed. The whites turned black and the pupils took the shape of a whirlpool. I'll kill you, Hebe dash. They clashed in battle. Naruto was so fast that Orochimaru could barely keep up with his movements. But he had a plan to put a seal on Naruto's body. Strike, block, jump. They broke the distance and swords appeared from white clouds of smoke. The clanging of metal was heard. Naruto decided that Orochimaru had to be finished. Naruto spread his arms out to the side and lightning struck the library. The power of these eyes gave complete control over the elements. No more seals or chakra. You become a god. The building began to tilt to the side. They fought again. Neither gave in. Enough. Naruto charged into battle, delivering swift and deadly blows to Orochimaru. He had covered his body in the flawless armor of the Uzumaki clan. The armor of a demon made of chakra. It was impenetrable to normal attacks. But the mad smile on Orochimaru's face didn't betray any fear. And here is that moment. Naruto jumped, filling his katana with chakra. He flew at Orochimaru, who put his sword under Uzumaki's attack. He knew that the sword would break, but this was the best moment to put the seal. Pain. Confusion. Orochimaru's body was pierced from behind. Naruto, who was flying at him from above, dissolved into blue light. I promised that I would kill you. Blood flowed from his mouth. Orochimaru's body was lying on the floor, and the building was slowly falling. Naruto approached Orochimaru's body and used a forbidden technique. Orochimaru's body turned into a blue, intangible lump of energy. Naruto absorbed the energy and jumped out the window. The blonde landed on the ground and ran as far away from the falling building as possible. Sitting on the shore, Naruto thought about what had happened. Everything he saw was an illusion. But he had become stronger, and in addition, he had received Orochimaru's knowledge. It was decided that in 4 months he would return to Konoha. But for now. Commentary on Chapter 10. Hebe means snake in translation. Chapter 11 Naruto, I understand that it's hard for you, but you need to move on. Yes, Kurama, I understand. I have a couple of ideas. Naruto, I've been meaning to tell you for a long time, but you still haven't opened the gift from Danzo. You're right. A gift emerged from the seal. In one swift movement, the gift wrapping was torn open. Come on, open it. Kurama, don't rush. What if it's a trap? Not everyone is like Orochimaru. Yes, I know. Naruto finally decided to open the gift. But there was no trap. A mask. An ANBU mask in the shape of a fox. As expected from Danzo. Naruto put it on with a cold gaze. From now on, this absolute defense against attacks and emotions took on a perfect form. You said you had a couple of ideas? Kurama, what do you know about the element of ice? Well, as far as I remember, they were all killed. But there is a chance that someone survived. I read in the library that if you have perfect mastery of several elements, you can cross them. For example, with perfect mastery of earth and water, you can get Mokuton. And what? I also read in the library that there is such an element of frost. Its temperature is so low that it can freeze lava. It can only be obtained through crossbreeding. To do this, you need to have perfect chakra control, huge reserves of this very chakra and perfect mastery of the elements of fire and ice. But ice can also be obtained through crossbreeding. Water and wind. I know, but there is one but. I have perfect control over Futon. But not Suiton. And I can spend the remaining 4 months on perfect control of sights. But there is another option. Which? If you find the owner of ice, you can absorb him. But it may take much more time to find this very owner. I think it's better to master Suiton. It's more useful and without sacrifices. By the way, about the victims. I want to create a few ninjutsu techniques so as not to absorb the victims, but only to copy all their knowledge and abilities. The idea is interesting, but I think we'll wait for now. I agree, Kurama. The distance from Uzushio to Konoha is simply enormous. Last time I got there in 2 months. Now it will take 2 weeks. That's why I decided to walk at a leisurely pace, especially since the path is long and dangerous, and if you run all the time, you can get tired. While I was walking, my clones were training. 5,000 were meditating, expanding their stock, reserve, and increasing their control, while the second one was mastering Suiton. I didn't meet anyone along the way. That's because the road is not popular. There are no cities or interesting places along the way. I got to Konoha in 3 months. I almost mastered Suiton. My goal is to talk to the Hokage and become a genin. And genin, because all their missions are easy and there is plenty of time left for training. It's easy to enter Konoha, if you're a resident of it, of course. No one recognized me under the ANBU mask. But what struck me was that there was a new face on the Hokage rock. Danzo's face. It looks like something happened to the third one. Entering the residence, I went to the Hokage's office. Knock knock. Come in. Danzo's voice was immediately recognizable. Upon entering the office, there was a moment of silence. This mask. Naruto, is that you? Danzo-sama is glad to meet you. Danzo stood up and walked over to Naruto and hugged him. I have so much to tell you. And me to you. Naruto, where have you been for so long? Well, it depends. Let's be honest. I ran away from Orochimaru and the others. I wanted to find myself. I trained for 5 years, and then I met Orochimaru. I decided not to tell the truth, but not to lie either. I defeated him in battle. And after the battle, I came here. You defeated Orochimaru. Incredible. What about the third one? That day, Konoha was attacked by Akatsuki. The third one was able to kill half of them, but 6 of them with Rinnegan killed him and took my eye and arm. But let's not talk about bad things. Are you tired from the road? Yes, there is a little. Danzo handed the keys to Naruto. These are the keys to your parents' house. Cat, show him in. An ANBU appeared behind me. I said goodbye to Danzo and went to the house. Well, what can I say about it? A 3-story house, where the 3rd floor is 1 room. The house itself is in the shape of a circle. There is a fairly large garden in the backyard. I walked up to the door. Flashback starts. We love you. And I you. End of flashback. Memories. I even shed tears. Once inside, I found myself in a long corridor, from which there were doors and arches leading to different rooms. I had no desire to look around the house. I went through the arch and found myself in the living room. I closed my eyes before falling onto the sofa. For a long time I have not meditated, but simply slept. I opened my eyes. In front of me was the night sky, strewn with stars and a full moon. My back was shaking from the cold. I was on something cold, I would say stone. A second later I was deafened by a loud roar and I woke up. What was that? It was just a dream. But the sensations were so real. Getting up from the couch, I went to the bathroom. I knew this whole house like the back of my hand, my parents' memories. After I had finished my chores in the bathroom, I looked around the living room. Yes. It wouldn't hurt to clean up. Half an hour and the house is completely clean. We need to make a plan of action. What do you think, Kurama? It is always necessary. Otherwise, everything can go down the drain. Well, look, in 6 days all my peers are graduating, which means I can ask Danzo to squeeze me into the team. I think it's a good idea. However, you can take the Chunin exam right now. It's interesting, but I won't have time to train. Why do you need to train a lot? To protect loved ones. You can protect them anyway. That's enough, there's no such thing as too much strength. It's time to go to Danzo. Knock knock. Come in. In the room, besides Danzo, stood Shikaku Nara. Hello Danzo, Shikaku. Naruto, when did you come back? I haven't seen you for so many years. Yesterday. And how are Shikamaru and Shikoten? They're fine. Why did you come? I want to become a genin, along with all of ours. Oh, by the way Naruto, I'd like to test your skills. Danzo-sama, I would be happy to, but there is one thing. I just want to become a genin. But if I show all my skills, then it's between a jounin and a chunin. And why don't you want to become a high-ranking shinobi? Experience and training. Without training, you won't be able to participate in battles that bring experience. But without experience, there's no point in training. So I want to ask you for a favor. Sorry to interrupt, Danzo-sama, can I go now? Yes, Shikaku, free. Nara left the office and our conversation continued. So what did you want to ask? I would like to choose my own team and mentor. Then let's do it this way. I'll test all your abilities. And then I'll give you a dossier of all the students in your class at the academy, and you'll make up teams and pick a mentor. Deal? Why do you trust me with the distribution? Testing analytical skills. When will you evaluate me? Now. Polygon number 1. This training ground belonged to the first Hokage. Tobirama Senju trained me and Hiruzen there. I took a book out of my pouch, from which a sheet of paper with exercises was sticking out. You were doing these exercises. I handed him the book with the sheet of paper. Yes. Is this from a gift? Yeah. We stopped in the center of the training ground, next to a tree. Okay then. Now I'll tell you how the evaluation will go. First, I'll evaluate your knowledge. Then your skills. After that, there will be one-on-one fights, and you'll also fight against me in a 3-person ANBU team, and you'll also fight against this team. The final stage will be an evaluation of your ability to adapt and analyze the situation. Got it? Yes. Before we start, when will I receive the students' dossiers? They're already at your house. My personal A&B delivered them to your garden. Okay, enough chatter, are you ready? Yes. Then let's begin. Danzo handed me a piece of paper and a pencil. This is the basic test for a jonin. You have 30 minutes. That's all I have. What? Let me see. I handed him the sheet. Yes, everything is correct. Then let's move on to skills. Monkey. An ANBU appeared in front of us. Evaluate Naruto's taijutsu. Eat. We stood opposite each other. Danzo waved his hand, announcing the start of the duel. We stood still. Each one was waiting for the other's move. But I knew how to wait, unlike my opponent. He was fast, very fast. I analyzed my opponent's attacks, his stance and defense. 2 minutes of the fight passed at this pace. I came to a conclusion. He tries to trip me, but I pay no attention and kick him. He knows that his kick will knock me down, and my kick will not reach its target. But how wrong he was. His foot got stuck in my samurai armor, that's what I called the chakra armor that took the form of armor, and my foot broke a couple of his ribs. Enough. You're good, Naruto. Thank you. I extended my hand to the NBU. I'm sure the monkey would have defeated me if he had underestimated me. A minute later we were standing alone on the training ground. Taijutsu is good, but what about ninjutsu? I have excellent control over wind and water, as well as lightning at an average level, but I know little about the techniques themselves. Genjutsu? I can use it at an average level, but the protection is at maximum. To the maximum? Even Genjutsu Furin won't take me. Interesting. Okay, I think Bukijutsu is also at a good level. And do you know Kenjutsu? I unsealed my sword. I see. Raven. He appeared in front of me. Sure Sway. Long time no see, Naruto. So you are my Kenjutsu examiner, the ghost of Sure Sway. Haha, at least don't call me that. Stop talking. Danzo waved his hand and we got down to battle. Naturally, no one knew about my empathy or about the phase shift, and this needs to be used. After we jumped apart, I ran at Sure Sway and jumped on top of him, swinging my sword. He walked away and prepared to attack me, as I crumbled into blue light. But he was no pushover either. Activating the Sharingan, he stopped all my attacks, and then began to attack himself. But I learned from the best. One move and he fell to the ground without his sword. Very good. Then we'll finish here. But we haven't done everything. The rest later. You are free to go. Okay. Sure Sway, come see me tonight and tell me how things are. Sure Sway looked at Danzo, who only nodded approvingly. Okay, Naruto. A second later he was gone. Oh yeah, Naruto, your father's bank account has become yours. Bye. Thank you, I said into the void. Luckily, I had my memories with me and I easily found the bank and the necessary cell. I also had the password with me. My father's account really did have a tidy sum. I decided not to take it all, but only to buy food. Now it's time to go shopping. I returned home with 3 large bags carried by my clones. I still wore a mask and no one recognized me. The clock said 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Sure Sway would be coming in the evening, so I had about 4 hours. I've known how to cook since childhood. Life is the best teacher. So by evening I had made curry and baked fish. Naruto's house. 1824. A knock on the door distracted me from my meditation. But whoever came surprised me. No, of course Sure Sway came, but he brought Sasuke and Seiko with him. Come in. Naruto-kun. Seiko pounced on me. It's been so long since I've seen you. When she got off me, I saw that Sure Sway had already gone into the living room, where the table was set, and Sasuke was still standing in the doorway. Hello, Naruto. Sasuke looked down and rubbed the back of his head. What's wrong with you? I thought you would be angry with me. Why should I be angry with you? Because I didn't protect Itachi. But he protected you, even at the cost of his life. Especially since he's still here. I poked him in the heart. Thank you, Naruto. Sasuke burst into tears. The evening went well though. I learned that the elders had died as well, as had many of the Uchiha clan. Only Sasuke's family, Shisui and Seiko remained. The guests decided not to go home, but stayed with me. And it's time for me to sleep. Tomorrow is a hard day. In the morning I woke up first. After washing myself, I decided to make breakfast for the whole family. But Seiko, who had just woken up, hurried to help me. I sent her to the bathroom and started preparing the table for cooking. For breakfast we will have bacon and eggs and Sasuke's favorite, tomatoes. I took out all the ingredients and decided to cut a tomato. I took a knife, and then, oh, you should have seen Sasuke's face, who wanted to say hello to me, but saw me with a knife that almost stabbed him. At that moment, Seiko came out of the shower. Sasuke went to the bathroom, and Seiko and I started cooking. When Shisui got up, we were already finishing. So after a cold shower, a hot breakfast was waiting for him. After eating, they went home, and I still had to go to Danzo Hokage's office. 10:30. Knock knock. Come in. God, don't they get tired of saying that phrase all the time, but oh well. And you, Naruto. Are you ready for the fights? Yes. Then I will introduce you to the team. 3 shinobi appeared in front of us in ANBU clothing, but without masks. These are Kakashi, Asuma, Kurinai. They, as well as Shisui, will be the mentors of your graduating teams. I thought that you would learn more about them in a real fight. Hello? Hello to you too, the 3 ANBU said in unison. My name is Naruto. I know your name. Briefly about me, I have a very good level of taijutsu, kinjutsu, fuinjutsu. I am immune to genjutsu. I have a bukijutsu level of a weak jonin. I am Kakashi Hatake. I have excellent control over the elements of lightning and earth, but I can use all elements. I have excellent control over taijutsu, ninjutsu and bukijutsu. Name is Yuhi Kurinai. Master of genjutsu. I have ninjutsu and bukijutsu at the level of jonin and taijutsu at the level of chunin. Asuma Sarutobi. I have good skills in taijutsu, kinjutsu, ninjutsu. Well, since you've already met, I'll give you 10 minutes to come up with a plan. Good luck. Danzo moved away from us at a distance of about 40 meters. Do you have a plan? Kakashi's look suggested that if there was no answer, he would suggest one himself. What if we just attack his weakness? Asuma intervened in the conversation. You mean on the right, where he has no arm and eye? Kurinai joined in. Yes. It might work, Kakashi added. Naruto, what are you thinking about? Attacking a person's weakness, which everyone knows about, is the most dangerous option, because that's where they expect attacks. That's true. Then how? I can create 3 shadow clones. They will transform into you and I will attack from the right with them. When he is distracted by me. Are we attacking from behind? Actually, no. If we attack from both sides, there will be room to retreat. I thought we could lure him into a trap. Listen. 10 minutes later, my clones and I landed near Danzo. Ready? Yes. Then let's begin. We surrounded Danzo in a circle. So now to the plan. Asuma, in the form of my clone, took out his knives and ran at him. At that time, Kurinai threw 5 shurikens at him from behind. Kakashi and I waited for Danzo's move. Didn't expect that. Well, who could have known that he could do seals with one hand? He created a shadow clone, which repelled the shurikens, and he and another clone fought Asuma. This continued until we found ourselves near a tree. Asuma managed to destroy the clone, but before evaporating, he threw shurikens at Kurinai and she dissipated in a puff of smoke. My clones and I surrounded Danzo, who leaned against a tree. But there was a trap. Asuma was falling on him from above, and Kurinai ran out from behind the tree. Danzo had one field to retreat. The trap slammed shut. Danzo began to sink into the ground. Kakashi softened the ground with lightning, and it turned into quicksand. Okay, I give up, Danzo said, coming out from behind the tree. But how? When Kurinai destroyed my clone, I immediately understood everything and replaced myself with a new clone. That's why I'm here and he's there. I thought we defeated the Hokage. Well, don't be upset. You still have a lot of work to do. Yes, Danzo-sama, may I ask you to have Shikaku Nara assist me in the placement? Fine. Naruto's apartment. One day before graduation from the academy. Thank you, Shikaku. I am very grateful to you. You're welcome, Naruto. Good luck on your missions. So I said goodbye to Shikaku. We were able to pick the best teams. Me, Sasuke, and Seiko will be on the team together, and our mentor will be Shursui. Now we need to get some sleep. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. Chapter 15 Naruto's house. 5 in the morning. Well, Shursui, are you ready? Yes. By the way, Naruto, I have a question. I think you've noticed that Sasuke and Seiko get along well. Do they get along? I've never seen them talk to each other. So you noticed. They haven't been friends since childhood. If they are in a circle of friends, they behave like complete strangers, but in front of strangers they behave quite decently. I try to make them friends, but nothing works. Fight. What? If they fight an enemy stronger than them individually, they will lose, but if they unite then, they will win. All you need is an incentive to win at any cost. Thanks, Naruto, for the advice. This might actually work. Then until the evening or whenever you pick us up there. Go up to the roof at 3. Is that okay? Yes. Shinobi Academy. 9:50. Sasuke and Seiko walked silently towards the academy. At the gates they saw a blonde man in a fox mask. Naruto-kun. Hello, Seiko, Sasuke. Hello? Before we go in, let's make a bet. If I guess all the teams and their coaches, then we go to Ichiraku Ramen, and you pay for me. Seiko glanced at me suspiciously, then looked at Sasuke. He just shrugged and said, It's coming. But I don't agree. Then, Seiko, you will be a witness to this dispute. The 3 of us will be in one team under the leadership of Shursui. Shikamaru, Ino and Choji will be with Asuma Sarutobi. Hyuga, Aburame and Inuzuka will be with Ataki Kakashi, and Shikoten, Fukoten and Sakura will be with Yuhi Kurenai. So if you're wrong about even one thing, then I pay? Yes. It's coming. I made these lists. What? I knew everything in advance, that's why I will win against you, Sasuke. But that's not fair. We are shinobi. Meanness is in our blood. Naruto, I knew something was wrong. Sasuke is just overconfident and stupid. Shut up. Oh, okay, let's go. Naruto class. 12 o'clock. I won again, Shikoten. I just didn't expect you to be able to play shogi. You play like my father. Where did you learn? He has it. Yes? I didn't know. A gray head of hair appeared from the door, and behind it a man in a mask. We exchanged glances with him. He took Hinata and the others. Kurenai came for him an hour later. Only ours remained, since Asuma came almost immediately. Let's go. Hey, stop. Where are you going? To the roof. Shursui said to be there at 3. It's 1 o'clock now. I can't stay in this stuffy office for that long. Okay. We went up to the roof where Shursui was already. You're not too early, Shursui. And you? Okay, what are we going to do? Well, since we all know each other, we will have training. Training? The younger Uchiha said in unison. You need to go to training ground number 12. Be there by 2, and I need to talk to Naruto. Got it? Yes. Sasuke and Seiko went to the training ground. We stayed on the roof. I came up with a task. They will have to defeat me, and if they can't, they will go back to the academy. I'll give them a hint. How? I'll give them the idea of a team, and I'll fall into his hands. I even have thoughts on this matter. Polygon number 12. 1500 hours. Shursui-san, where have you been? Seiko, I'm sorry, we just got lost on the road of life. How are we going to train? You, Seiko, and Naruto will have to take this from me. He took out 2 pieces of paper. Whoever takes it joins my team, whoever doesn't takes it returns to the academy. But how is that, Shursui-san? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you have until 6. Are you ready? Yes. Then let's go. Sasuke and Seiko disappeared into the forest. Shursui and I exchanged glances, nodded to each other, and began to carry out the plan. First of all, we need to show a fight at the level of a genin with a chunin. Like I'm weak, and Shursui gives in. We need to attract their attention to our fight. Why didn't you hide? You'll find it anyway. And that's true. My clone didn't let him finish, attacking him from behind. Shursui dissipates in a cloud of white smoke. Uchiha runs out from behind a tree, and then destroys my clone with his sword. So with swords? Exactly. I took my sword out of the seal and we met in battle. The fight was the same as on the first training ground, only now we switched places. Well, here we went a little overboard. The fight should have been between a genin and a chunin, not a jonin and an even stronger jonin. Although the fight was colorful. A lot of skill and posing was immediately visible, although apparently the performance was excellent. I felt surprise, envy, and love. A very distinct feeling of love, and this is clearly not Sasuke. And love not for family. However, this will have to wait for the culmination now. Shursui traps me and leaves me hanging from a tree. Now he has to give a speech. You are strong. Very strong, but you lack the most important thing. And what then? If the enemy is strong, what should you do? To train. And if there is no time? Ask for help. And if you have true friends? There is no need to ask. Then, Sasuke, Saiko help me. Right. The Uchihas appeared in the clearing. Seiko threw a shuriken at the rope and I was freed. Now the denouement. Well, together? Yes. The Uchihas answered in chorus. At the end of the fight, Shursui allowed us to capture the sheets. You are great. Shursui showed a big smile. You will all be on my team. But you. It was a teamwork mission. Even A and B you go on missions in teams. We were walking near a neighborhood where there were all kinds of establishments everywhere. Shursui-san, Seiko said in a sweet voice, for deceiving us, you must treat us. Yes, that's a good idea. Sasuke supported her. Okay, guys, you deserve it. We went to a barbecue restaurant. When we entered, we saw a very interesting picture. 9 of our classmates were sitting at a huge table, and Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai were sitting at another normal table, designed for 4. I looked at Shursui, who just smirked. So he led us here right away. We sat down at the table. Hey, hi everyone. Hello Seiko, Sasuke, Naruto. I decided to take advantage of the moment. Guys, do your mentors pay for you too? No. Then Sasuke pays. What? For what reason? Well, you lost the bet, so pay. But I promised that I would only pay for your food all week. Waiter, I would like to order. In short, Sasuke was broke that day. I can imagine how he got into trouble with his parents. Chapter 17 The next morning. Hokage building. Hello, Danzo-sama. And you too, Shursui. Are you on a mission? Yes, sir. Then as promised, I give you a C-rank mission. Escort the carriage from Konoha to Suna. Is that clear? Yes. You have until 12. Then go to the gate. She will be there. I see. Can I go? Yes, go, Shursui. After talking with the Hokage, everyone went home. I arrived at the gate exactly at 12. Naruto, you're late. No, Sasuke, I came on time. Just a little more and I would have taught you a lesson for being late. Are you hinting that you're still angry with me? I'm not hinting, I'm saying it straight out. Don't be so angry, it's just a joke. At this point Sasuke couldn't take it anymore and flew at me with his fists. At that moment I noticed Shursui sitting on the Konoha gates, and used a phase shift, causing Sasuke to fly through me and fall to the ground. Seiko and Shursui, who were watching our squabble, just giggled quietly. Hello Shursui, Seiko. Hello Naruto-kun. Hello? When are we leaving? Halfway. Now meet the people we are supposed to protect. The order was carried out. There were 3 people in the cart, and 1 driver. A husband, wife, and their child. The driver did not introduce himself to me, but I learned the names of the others. The husband was Nogami, the wife Amine, and the son Tsuroko. Nogami had dark red hair and eyes of the same color. His body was strong and powerful, and his height was about 190 centimeters. His skin color was normal. Amine, on the contrary, had dull blue eyes and hair. She was taller than Nogami by 2 or 3 centimeters. Amine, unlike Nogami, was dark-skinned. She wore a t-shirt that covered only her breasts, which is why, from her body, I could tell that her body was very flexible and elastic. Sirocco was very short, even for a child. I can predict that when he becomes a young man, he will be no taller than 170 centimeters. His hair was very bright blue and his eyes were no different. But I could tell from his body that he was a complete zero. He was not strong, not flexible, he was ordinary. His skin was pale, his movements were smooth. He did not stand out in any way. But his biggest feature is that if you do not pay attention to him, you will not notice him. At 12:30 we set off. The weather was wonderful. Birds were singing, the sky was clear, oh, beauty. We moved slowly to Suna. 2 days later, we were at the junction of the forest and the desert. Over the past 2 days the weather had changed. It had become incredibly hot and dry. But what happened was what I least expected. We were attacked by scorpions. Huge fucking scorpions. We prepared for battle. There were 3 scorpions in total. We decided to leave Seiko with Nogami, Amine and Sirocco. Shursui, what elements do you possess? Wind, fire, earth. Can you fence them off? Shursui formed seals, causing 4 earthen walls to appear around the scorpions. Shursui, I'm about to use a technique that will knock me out. Pick me up if anything happens. Okay. Sasuke, jump above the scorpions and use fireball. Fine. While Sasuke was carrying out the order, I began preparations. Element of water, thunderclouds. The clouds began to gather. It began to rain. It rained in the desert for the first time in 5 years. Sasuke's attack had battered them and made them very angry. Just a little more and the wall would be broken. Naruto, faster. Wind element, typhoon. A water tornado began to form inside the 4 walls. Lightning element, spear of Zeus. A spear of lightning appeared in Naruto's hand. A second later, it was inside Typhoon. The next day, Naruto opened his eyes and saw Seiko diligently embroidering something. Hi Seiko, what are you doing? Naruto, you're awake. Seiko hugged Naruto very tightly. Ow, that hurts. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. How much I slept? 2 days. What? Shursui went to Suna, and Sasuke and I stayed here to look after you. What do you sew? And this. Hee, this is for you. She would hand me a t-shirt with the inscription, Naruto is a dunce. Yours broke and I decided to give you a gift. Where is it torn? Here, take it. I started pouring chakra into it, and the shirt started to recover. How? Big secret. Well, tell me. Sasuke burst into the tent. Seiko, Shursui has arrived. Oh, and you, Naruto, have woken up. Shursui joined us. Naruto, I have something to talk about. We moved further away. I examined you after that technique. Your hand was charred, and I saw with the Sharingan that there was no chakra in it. Perhaps after this technique you will not be able to use chakra for some time. I understand. Thank you, Shursui. The way back did not bring us any difficulties and I was finally able to sleep normally. It's been a month since our first C-rank mission. We've been doing 2 things all this time. Missions and training. Shursui took a weekly C-rank mission, which we completed in 6 days. After 1 day of rest, we moved on to training. I have a good command of the elements, but I know little about techniques. That's where Uchiha helped me. He taught me wind elemental techniques for 6 days. 1 day of rest and another mission. This time, CB rank or something. Well, in general, it could be either C or B, depending on how it goes. But in our case, everything went smoothly. 6 days on a mission, a day of rest and training. But this time it was different. Our teachers decided to exchange students for these 6 days. Might Guy and his team also joined us. It included Hyuga, the Tenten girl, and Rock Lee. Shursui said that we were free to choose our own teacher. But I have a goal. We have wind techniques, lightning and water remain, and who is our most famous user of these elements? Yes, it's Kakashi, although he's worse with water, but oh well. So I spent a week with Ataki. Monday. I can congratulate you guys. With what, Shursui-san? We are the best among the teams of your graduating class, so the Hokage gave us a marathon of tasks, among which is a B-rank task. Where are the congratulations? I don't see anything good in a large number of tasks, except money. After we complete 3 C-rank tasks and 1 B-rank task, you will be given a teacher in some kind of jutsu, and the best of the best, perhaps not even from our village. And when is the first mission? Today. We need to be at the gate in 2 hours. Is that clear? Yes, Shursui-sensei. In 2 hours. We arrived exactly at the time Shursui indicated. Hello, guys. Meet Mirin. We have to escort her to the land of tea. Nice to meet you, Mirin. I'm Naruto, this is Seiko and Sasuke. Me too. You are so polite and sweet. Thanks. Sasuke, look, Naruto got embarrassed. Sasuke and Seiko giggled on the side while I was talking to Mirin. The journey is not short, we are heading to the land of tea. At the same time. Damn. This brat doesn't even think about using my power. We need to create a council. 2 hours passed. Hey, Shursui, I sense people in the bushes, 50 meters away. About 30 people. Get ready. Formation 2-1. Approaching that place, about 15 bandits jumped out at us. They held out for a minute. The most important thing is that their target is not Mirin, but us. About 10 shinobi jumped out at us next Nuke-nin. It was difficult with them. Shursui fought 5. I took 3 and Sasuke 2. Seiko stood near Mirin and guarded her. Fighting 3 shinobi at once, albeit Chunin, really exhausted me. It's not that I spent a lot of chakra or was tired, it's just that if I constantly use phase shift, you can lose consciousness, which I already checked from experience during training with Take Orochimaru. So I had to dodge, which required a lot of concentration. I tried as much as possible not to cause harm to the enemy that was incompatible with life. I simply scattered all the bandits. They were nothing, even compared to Genin, and I was not going to get my hands dirty because of them. But with the Nuke-nin, it was a different situation. They gave more for the living. No, you heard right. I think they are ready to give a couple of coins for the Nuke-nin. I finished with mine, sealed them in a scroll, and decided to help the others. Shursui apparently wouldn't mind earning some money either, and Sasuke. Sasuke stood with his Manjiki Sharingan activated, next to the bodies of 4 people. I immediately ran up to him. 2 missing Nin, Seiko and Mirin, were lying on the scarlet ground. I had come to terms with the death of enemies and sending them to the next world with the help of my hand and weapon back in the 1st grade. But with the death of loved ones. Chapter 19 The council was convened. Now, in the empty space, 9 Biju appeared, one after another. Hello? I'm glad you agreed to come to my aid. It's not every day that the great and terrible demon Fox asks for help, Bitanuki said. And hello to you too, Shikaku. Anyway, I won't pull Shikaku's tail. To her. My Jinchuriki believes that we are friends. And as a sign of our friendship, he does not take my chakra. Which, in turn, does not allow me to break out. But you're not in a cage. What's stopping you from just getting out of it? Good question, Matatabi. And I have an answer to it. When we were in Uzushio, his clones were reading the scrolls. One of them said that only members of the Uzumaki clan can hold a bijou without a cage, but only if they do not use its chakra. And what do you propose to do? Son Goku joined the discussion. I need to force him to use chakra. Then why do you need us, and what benefit do we gain? If any of you attack him, he will have to use my power. And then I will go outside. And then I will attack the waterfall and help Chomi get out. Together we will find Sun, Isabu, Kaku and Saiken. Together we will attack and defeat those who hold the other bijou and we will be free. This is very interesting, Kurama. What is the plan? I'll tell you now. Seiko's death hit me very hard. I haven't left the house for a month. I haven't eaten, I only drink water. I lie on the bed and just think. But suddenly my thoughts are interrupted by a voice in my head. Naruto, urgently. What is it, Kurama? Sasuke was attacked. How did you understand this? Because he was attacked by another Jinchuriki. Naruto teleported to Sasuke. The Uchiha was covered in blood, and there was a body in front of him. Seiko appeared before his eyes. Only Shisui was there. Sasuke. What's going on here? These two people, he pointed his finger at the shinobi. One of them is a red-haired old man with dark eyes, a beard and mustache of the same color. The other is a tall, thin young man with shoulder-length brown hair. His hair also covers his left eye. He has pale skin and an indifferent expression. The shinobi also has golden brown eyes. He is dressed in a blue long kimono with an orange belt that holds a tube for blowing bubbles. Attacked me during training with Shisui. He protected me with his life. So Sasuke. Now you run to the Hokage and explain the whole situation to him. Got it? But how will you deal with them? Don't worry. The main thing now is for him to bring reinforcements. I'll hold out as long as I can. I'll be right there. 3 Jinchuriki remained in the clearing. When Sasuke left the training ground, Naruto broke the silence. Why are you here? We have to free someone. We wanted to kill and transform into these 2 Uchiha. But you got in the way. Naruto, these 2. They are ready to kill you. I think you need to take my chakra. But there was no answer. If you value your life, then get out of my village. Naruto's eyes changed. And you caught. The red-haired one was not allowed to finish. A cloud fell on him from above. The second one managed to jump back. The earth began to shake. That guy jumped out of the cloud, in some kind of red chakra shroud with one tail. He started attacking me at breakneck speed. I barely had time to dodge. But the music didn't last long. A second guy in the same shroud attacked me from behind. I missed that blow. Bed rest for a whole month weakened me greatly. My reaction was like that of a weak Chunin. I just didn't have time to use the phase shift. His blow sent me flying with such force that my body pierced several centuries-old trees. So you're not Genins? I said jokingly. Standing up and cracking my neck demonstratively, I prepared for battle. There was no time to relax now. So, 2 shinobi attacked you and now Naruto has to fight them? Yes. Hawk. An ANBU appeared in front of the Hokage, gather 2 squads. Eat. Within seconds the ANBU was gone, and within a minute 8 Special Forces shinobi were standing in the cabin. Let's move out. Final The fight was brutal. The entire clearing was covered in blood and iron. The fight against 2 shinobi Jinchuriki, to say that it was draining at an incredible rate to say nothing. But this battle, like all others, must end. After another attack, the opponents jumped in different directions. You couldn't defeat me with just the 2 of you, what if I'm not alone? At that moment, 10 shinobi appeared on the field, Danzo, Sasuke, and 8 ANBU. So that's where that Uchiha ran to. I think we shouldn't hold back. What do you think, Rishi? Yes, it's time to show you our power. Begin, Utakata. Naruto, they are going to turn into Biju. Take my power. Do you think I'm that stupid? Do you think I don't know about that scroll? I trusted you, Kurama, but you betrayed me. The 4 tails and the 7 tails appeared in front of the Konoha shinobi. Danzo, can you seal them? Only if you delay them. Strange, huh? Naruto stood there and did nothing. But that's not strange. The Biju did the same. Sasuke, I'm going to need your help. How can I help? Sasuke has one of the monkey Biju tails sticking out of his chest. I lost my teacher, my partner, and my partner. Now I understand Kakashi. Naruto closed his eyes. Danzo and ANBU couldn't do anything. Back then, that night, they barely held off the Kyuubi. Now there were only 10 of them, and 2-tailed beasts against them. Help would arrive soon, but would it be in time? And would they be able to seal them? They say that the Rinnegan is the eye of God. But they are wrong. Strange dojutsu appeared in Naruto's eyes. White Rinne Sharingan with bulging veins. A second later, 3 Tomo Sharingan formed a whirlpool. Printing technique, seal of God. The 2 Biju after this technique began to decrease in size, and then turned into 2 small red balls. 3 scrolls appeared out of nowhere. Naruto sealed the balls in 2 of them. And then, Naruto, what are you doing? Danzo-sama, could you bring me the corpses of Seiko, Sasuke, and Shisui? Danzo merely nodded to his soldiers. An hour passed and all the bodies were in front of Naruto. Resurrection technique. Biju's sacrifice. A red ball appeared from the first scroll and entered Sasuke's body. Resurrection technique. Biju's sacrifice. A red ball appeared from the second scroll and entered Shisui's body. I love you too, Seiko. Tears started to flow from Naruto's eyes. Resurrection technique. Kiss of God. Naruto kissed Seiko on the lips, after which a ball of yellow chakra burst out and flew into Seiko's heart. Uzumaki's body fell dead, and there was a smile on his face. A year has passed since the death of Naruto Uzumaki. This day has been declared a day of mourning. A new name has been added to the history books. Everyone knows about Naruto Uzumaki, the son of the Yondaime, the hero of Konoha, the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed fox, and just a good guy. But let's not talk about the dead, let's talk about the living. Seiko Uchiha is currently the strongest kunoichi in Konoha. She is the Jinchuriki of the seven-tailed fox, the owner of the Manjiko Sharingan, and Tsunade's student. She received her Manjiko when she awoke from a long sleep. Her Manjiko has the power to heal. She can heal any wound in a second. But even after Naruto's death, she loves him. Sasuke Uchiha, well, he's a dead ringer for Naruto, cheerful and kind, I'd like to say. After his best friend died, he could stand by his grave all day long. He lost 2 brothers and a sister. He made a promise to himself, he would protect, even at the cost of his own life, his loved ones. Shisui Uchiha, he curses himself for not being able to protect his student, and is proud of him at the same time. He believes that Naruto is still alive in their hearts. One man's story is over. But it's not the end for the rest.